Yes, we're live. I'm live. Hello, beautifuls. Let me just finish clicking all the buttons, make sure everything's good. All right, beautifuls, welcome to tonight's or today's, wherever you are in the world, Self-Love Talks. And today it's called From Burnout to Blissed Out. And we're going to be looking at the shadow side of being a healer, coach, therapist, helper, light worker, person who goes out into the world trying to make that big difference with that big purpose, that big calling to make this world a better place and help transform lives. This Self-Love Talks is for you, my friends. So thank you all so much for being here. As usual, we're going to dive deep. There's a lot to get into. I'm going to do a personal share, hopefully to help you feel validated, that you're not alone, connected to, because really the whole reason that I'm doing what I do and doing the Self-Love Talks, and particularly doing this topic tonight that I'm covering, is because, well, number one, I want to expose something that I feel really needs talking about. It's a really big pain point. It literally gets right on your nerves and on all of our nerves and really sabotages us. But also because the real big reason behind this is because I feel like we need each other. We need each other perhaps more than ever before. Those of us that are working for that common cause, that are all about love, we're all about the heart, we're all about truth, we're all about light, we're all about helping, serving, giving, really wanting this world to be a better place for our children, for our grandchildren, for our great-grandchildren, making it a better place now, making this earth more wholesome, more healthy, more thriving, because we have a vision. We know that it can be that. We know that that's why we're here. But there are certain things, certain shadows, which are sabotaging us individually and collectively, certain things which are really kind of getting in there and separating us, causing divisions, causing separation, and causing even us to separate from parts of ourselves as well as each other. Okay, so we're going to be lifting the lid on that, revealing the masks, so that, and it can be a little bit like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go there. But for the bigger reason, the bigger purpose of bringing us together, okay? And that's where I'm going to start, is with facing that and what that looks like. So once again, I really appreciate you being here. I really, really appreciate, really with my whole heart, all of you that support the work that I do and have been doing for many, many, many years. For those of you that support my channel, thank you. I know you guys who've been loyal, you've been with me for years, and I really, really appreciate it. And I know I was away for a while too, and I'm going to dive into that a little bit. And so I really appreciate you coming back, being supportive here and now, and really helping this channel to grow and to prosper, so that this message, the messages that I share, that I know are our messages, because you tell me it resonates so much with you, that it's our message that we're sharing out with other people and, you know, doing this good work. So I appreciate you. Thank you. If you're a new person, you've not watched my videos before, or the audio podcast, I'm so, so grateful that you are here. You've landed just in time. Good job. And please do subscribe, like, comment, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're coming from if you're on this live with me right now. I'm going to keep checking the comments and just make sure that I don't miss you. So also, quick call to action. If you are not already part of my, I call them the inner circle, although it's free. It's one of the people that are on my mailing list. I love the people on my mailing list. I write to them, I tell them all kinds of things. I send them love letters. They're the first ones to get my offers, all of my invitations, all of my news. So if you're one of those, thank you. And if you're not, simply just go to my website and become one of my email subscribers. And then you kind of get in on it's like you've got the guest list, right? You're my A-list celebrities, my A-list superstars. And you do that by simply going to my website, taraloveperry.com, The link will be above and below this video. Loads of links for you to check out. And you can just simply subscribe, and then we can stay in touch and we're connected, okay? Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. So let me know what you're doing, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay or watching it on some other channel or listening to it. What is it that you do? Because I know that like attracts like. So you must be like me in some kind of way where you love to serve others. You're all about what you can give to the world. You're about shining your light, giving your gifts. You're about making some kind of difference so that this world is better for others. Maybe you've got a particular niche of others that you work with. You probably got a particular focus or direction, whether it's children or the elderly or first responders or other healers like I work with, or, you know, whatever it is that you work with. Let me know what you do. If you're a coach and you have a coaching business, or, you know, you have a speciality in your coaching, maybe you work in a medical practice, you're a nurse, you're a carer, you're a doctor, you're some kind of person in that field. In some way, you are helping others. You're a therapist, you're a healer, you're a massage therapist, you're a Reiki. You know, maybe you just consider yourself a light worker. Maybe you've got no specific thing that you do yet, or you do many things, because we don't have to specialize in one thing to recognize or to be able to identify as that person who loves to help and serve and give. Okay, so welcome all of you, and just want to give you a big hug, like come on in here, get a cuddle. Thank you for doing your work. I know it goes massively unacknowledged and unappreciated. And this goes back to a real deep wound that I'm going to gently speak into, right? So I don't mean to be triggering, by the way, in my videos. I know that sometimes I am, so forgive me for that. But we're going to go into that wound of why it is that we don't get that appreciation, particularly in our kind of arena, in our field. And it's a lot to do with your humility. It's a lot to do with that you're just coming from your heart, that you want to do good. And there's kind of almost a written in the contract, whether this is subconscious or unconscious, or even you are conscious of it, it's still operating in the background because it's such an ancient thing that what we do just for the love of people. We do it through love. We do it through the goodness and the grace of God. We do it for the love of it, right? It's a passion. And therefore, we shouldn't, and perhaps we don't, ask for anything in return. It's all about give, 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 give. And it's almost like the more you give, the more kind of credit you somehow subconsciously rack up, like, or the more merits you deserve. You know, you're going up the rank. The more people you've helped, the more hours you've put in, the more you self-sacrifice, the more you self-sabotage, the more you overgive, the harder you work, the more you burn out. It almost like it deserves some kind of reward, some kind of accreditation that you've really earned it. You really are, you know, a giver. You've got the giver medal. And it does often, all too often. I would really ask you to answer this question for yourself. How many times have you burnt out? And maybe that's a burnout of a little bit. Like, oh, you just needed like 3 days in bed, or like a week, you know, watching box sets, or whether you actually had it deeper where it's affecting your mental health. You're starting to feel like this emptiness inside. You're starting to feel completely overwhelmed by other people's energies, thoughts, feelings, the energy that's going on in the world, the troubles, the traumas that are going on in the world, your clients and their energy and their kind of emotional baggage that they bring, that you're there to help with, that you're there to help lift that burden. And no matter what, you know, methods we're using, I want to be very careful here because there's an exception, and I'm sure there are more than one exceptions, but I definitely know of one exception where this is not the case. But it's very easy in most cases, again, either consciously or subconsciously, you're aware of it or you're not aware of it, of taking on your client's stuff, your patients, the people that you help, right? You take on their stuff, you go home with it, you think about it, you feel about it, you worry about them, or you kind of, just feel so bogged down by the end of the day, you're drained, you're exhausted. That means you've taken on other people's energy, it's lowered you, or you've given so much from your own cup that there's really nothing left in your cup because you've given it out to everybody else. You're a giver, but then you have to go back and top up your own cup, right? Who's familiar with that? And if you don't do that regularly enough, or you don't quite know how to do that, or you're doing things which kind of top up your cup to a bit, like, a hug or a holiday or a night out where you let your hair down and you go, that's my top up. Or, you even have a spa break for a weekend. You go, nice rest, But it doesn't actually get to the root cause, because how many times on that kind of treadmill, and it is a bit of a treadmill of like, I've got to help more people, I've got to do more, I've got to make it faster, there's so many people to help, I'm not doing enough, I need to do more, it needs to be faster, it needs to be better, I need the next best thing and the next best thing, and it needs to, how many people can I help? Because so many people are suffering and struggling, and we feel that because we're sensitive, we're empathic. Even if we don't want to be empathic, even if we try to protect our emotions, even if we try and kind of create the healthy boundaries and the barriers and we don't get too intimate, we still feel it. We still feel it. We can, numb out, distract ourselves with work or with other things, busy doing things, helping the people, helping the family, doing what we do, and really kind of just avoid that place where we are empathizing, we're taking on other people's energy, we're taking on this huge responsibility. And I've done videos about responsibility before, but we take on this responsibility that didn't just start the day you decided to train in your healing modality or your therapy or your counseling or your coaching or medical certificate. It goes deeper than that. You didn't just decide that day that you have a responsibility to the rest of humanity or to a certain section of humanity. That decision was made a really long time ago. And that sense of feeling responsible and therefore subconsciously burdening yourself started way, way, way back. For some of you, it might have started in your kind of early adult life where you're a teenager, you're starting to become more self-aware, you're noticing the environment around you, you're thinking, I got to do something, what can I do? I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm amazing, I've got gifts, I get it, I'm here. And you've got energy and you've got passion at that age. Maybe, potentially, not always, maybe something awful happened to you at some point in your childhood, where your traumas were activated. And so therefore, then you have to, do something to help others so that you can make a better world, so that your trauma has a place where it can heal, right? Because if your trauma happened because of something horrible that happened, and then you help other people so that those horrible things stop happening, then there's space for that trauma of yours to go, I can relax now, I'm safe. I've dealt with the culprits, or I've helped, create a safe space or a barrier around me by helping those in my environment, so I've made a safer space so that I can exist. Right, hands up if you recognize that. That was certainly me, I have to tell you. I, listened to my story. I told you this story probably a few times. I think I mentioned it in last week's podcast, where, and I'm not going to go into it again, but basically I recognized from a very early age that there was not enough love in my world. And in my world meant the whole world, right? I'm only little, I'm like 4 or 5 years old. I was like, there's not enough love here for me. Real love that I can feel. I know it exists, but I'm not in it. I'm not feeling it. And therefore, that became the whole world, because my immediate environment as a 4 or 5-year-old isn't the whole world. It's all that I know. Right? I'm sure you can relate to this and think back to something that happened to you and like just be aware now, like sensing into that process that your subconscious little developing brain went through. The whole world is lacking in love. Awful, terrible, devastating, traumatic. And then, of course, that triggers this responsibility that because I feel it, because I see it, because I know it, because I'm feeling it, I've got to then do something about it. Right? You could be like me, something happened to you as a child, or just a situation, an ongoing circumstance that kind of informed you to create such beliefs. Right? Let me know if this is you and you're resonating with this. I feel like all of you, if not, most of you will be resonating with this, right? This is what starts the journey, or so we think. Because some of you are sensitive enough to know, and I don't mean to kind of say those of you that don't experience this aren't sensitive. Forgive me for that. I'm not kind of trying to create some kind of specialist section. I'm really not. It's just some of us experience what feel like memories pre being in this lifetime. Okay, if that doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you. It doesn't have to. We don't all have to see things through the same lens. You could, call it something else. It's completely, fine. You don't have to agree with my way. But what I would refer to is like past life experiences, or maybe, alternative universal now experiences, like if you're into string theory, where we're experiencing multiple realities at the same time simultaneously because time doesn't exist, and that's another conversation. But it's another way of, like, we can frame it different ways, is what I'm trying to say. We don't have to relate to it as past. Maybe you can just tap into a part of you that kind of feels like you've been doing this forever. You kind of feel like every time you're here in a human body, or maybe you feel ancient, like in your soul, that you've been helping people lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, in different modalities, in different ways, trying different, avenues and different ways of working, but that ultimately it's like you're back here again, or you're, feel like this has been going on forever and it's still going on. You're still kind of got this mission to complete, right? This big calling. I believe this is where it comes from. This big mission, this big calling. I have to make a difference this time round. I have to help save the world, or heal the world, or, create that new earth, create that new paradigm, stop the same things from happening that have happened before, to humanity, whether we're looking at previous generations or previous centuries or previous, millennia. All of us are different. All of us tap into different aspects of that. And there's, nothing's better or not as good as. It's just different. Okay. We all feel different areas depending on our level of sensitivity and also our experience, right? So I feel deep down that that's where it comes from. And it's this, alongside this ancient desire, or even if it's just a lifelong desire, or an awakening desire. Some of you are just awakening to it now. It's like, I need to help. I need to do something. The situation's got so bad on earth. I need to do something. And maybe it's drawing out this new part of you, or maybe it's an ancient part of you that's being revived, or, whatever. You let me know. How is it affecting you? Because it is fascinating and amazing how it's unique for everybody, but it's kind of the same, right? We're all sharing a similar reality, where deep down inside of us, there is this huge feeling, this huge sense of got to do something. And that is amazing and wonderful and giving. And it has power to it. It has valor to it. It has value to it. It's, it's selfless in so many ways. But it's got a shadow side to it, as with everything in this dualistic reality. Okay. Even this light that we have inside of us has a shadow to it. And that shadow, unless we're recognizing it and integrating it, and as far as I'm concerned, unconditionally loving it, to embody it and transform it, unless we're doing that and really doing a real good, thorough job of that, it continues in greater and lesser degrees, like in everyday degrees, but also in sometimes great big walloping, life-crushing degrees. It can and does have its, kickback. It has the kick in the butt. It has the slap in the face. It has the downfall. It has a pitfall. Okay. And that pitfall can start with, like I said, feeling drained, feeling a bit tired, feeling like, oh, my cup's a bit empty. I need to top my cup up. What shall I do? I need a holiday. I need a foot massage. I need whatever. I need to drink more smoothies instead of chips, or, whatever it is. I need to cut the carbs and go to the gym, whatever it is, right? To top up the cup, or you need hugs from people or your animals. And it can just start like that and go, oh, it's okay. No, I'm all right. I've got to do more, right? Getting up, doing more. And then it starts to get like, oh, actually, I'm not feeling so good. My head feels a bit foggy, feeling completely overwhelmed. Really, and I want to bring your attention to your breath, of how deeply you're breathing. Okay. And you might be going, that's an overwhelm deep breath. That's not a real deep breath. That's not actually receiving breath. That is coping breath, right? It might be that you're breathing very shallowly because you're trying not to actually recognize and be fully present with how you're actually feeling and how much everything is affecting you, because that's a protection mechanism, right? That's your way of, well, if I don't, give it any attention, if I don't focus on it, then what I don't focus on, I'm not giving energy to, right? Because what I focus on, I give energy to, right? What I feel, I feed. So I'm not going to feel it and feed it. I'm not going to focus on it and give energy to it. I'm just going to just like, oh, no, I'm fine. And I'm going to carry on going, right? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Doing that is really not serving you and ultimately not serving anyone, because people get things really confused. I would just want to say, without diving into it right now, that there's a whole heap of nonsense, and that's to say it politely, that's put out into the healing communities, the spiritual communities, the well-being, the personal development, the personal growth and spiritual growth communities. There is a heap of BS. It's just nonsense, okay? Or the truth of it, there is a truth to it, but there's a whole another aspect that also needs to be brought into the conversation, but that gets left out. Okay, so it's kind of not the full truth. And that's the case with what you give attention to will manifest and grow. So if you only believe that what you focus on and you give attention to will manifest, then you're only going to try and give attention to those things that work for you and that are good, rather than, not focusing on what you don't like, i.e. the fact that you're tired and drained and feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling a bit foggy. Does that make sense? It's like, yes, I agree. If you want flowers in your garden, not weeds, you water the flowers, not the weeds. Okay, if you water the weeds, you're going to get more weeds. You water the flowers, you're going to get more flowers. That makes sense in the garden. That makes sense with some things. However, if you just simply ignore the weeds, do they go away? No. The gardeners out there, I know I keep coming back to gardening references. It's just a good one. If you ignore the weeds, they don't just disappear and go, oh, you're not going to water me. Oh, okay, I'll go away. right? Okay, there's more to it. I know there's other aspects, there's sunshine and everything else, but basically take it back to ourselves. If we just pretend like we're okay, showing the world one face, I'm the healer, I'm the healer, I'm the expert, I know what I'm doing. And you really do know what you're doing, and I really do know what I'm doing. And we know you've worked, you've trained, you've done it, it's your calling. Of course you know what you're doing. And of course you're the expert or becoming an expert, in one or many things. And of course, you can help people. You're qualified, okay, in one way or another. However, just showing that face, I've got it all sorted. It's like the world says, okay, I'm going to come to you. You're the expert and you've got it all sorted. And therefore, you have to keep wearing this like guru face or like expert face. That means because you can help loads of other people, means that you've got everything in your life sorted too. And even though you haven't, right? Or it's a work in process, or you do have sometimes and then other times not, okay? But it's almost like we don't want to show our clients that, we don't want to show the world that. And it's kind of like they don't want to see it either, because then we can create these codependent relationships and they go, well, you're the expert. I'm going to latch onto you and I'm going to get energy from you and I'm going to get coaching from you and I'm going to get my inspiration from you and I'm going to get my healing from you and I'm going to dump on you because everybody needs somewhere to go, right? That's why you're there. So you take it on, you take it on, you take it on, you take it on, and it weighs you down. And you can't show that to your client. You can't say, oh my God, I'm drained listening to you, right? You would never say that. It would be a terrible thing to say. But at the end of the day, when you've finished or at the end of the week and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely drained. And then you're grouchy and your relationships with your parents or your siblings or your partner or your children or your friends or whatever, your personal relationship starts suffering. You haven't got energy to go out. You don't want to go out. You haven't got energy to exercise. You haven't got the energy to make a proper dinner. You haven't got the energy to go and get your hair done or do something nice for yourself or do a self-love course or whatever it is, right? You're burnt out. You're drained. And it's like that part of ourselves, then we almost feel like we have to protect, like we can't let other people see that. So we start living this kind of double-faced, two-faced life where, and I know we're not the only ones, okay? So I'm not trying to call you out or shame anybody here, okay? Because I've done this too, okay? Absolutely, I've done this. I watched my parents do it, in fact, running a healing center. And I would say like, I don't get it. And they'd be like, no, our reputation, we have to keep our reputation as healers. And I get it, right? Nobody will come to you if they think that you're a mess and you're falling apart and you're supposed to be the one with all the tools. And if it doesn't work for you, then why would they come to you? Right? So it starts this whole kind of downward spiral of like, oh my God, I feel like an imposter, right? Hands up who feels or has felt like an imposter, maybe some days more than others. But I think for many of us, if not most of us, if not everyone, and I meet a lot of healers, very well-known healers, coaches, inspirational authors, speakers, teachers, coaches. I meet a lot of them. And I can give you an insight from what I see and from what's been shared with me. Yes, everybody has it. Okay. Now, in some ways we can kind of take solace in that and go, this is just a thing. It's part of the bag. It's part of the shadow side of being a healer. And of course it happens in all industries, right? We're not the only ones with a shadow here. Everybody does. But let's bring attention to ours, because not talking about this really gives us not just the headaches and the migraines and the poor digestion and the poor sleep and the messed up hormones and, all of that stuff that starts going wrong with our bodies, with our mind, with our emotions. But this also separates us. It can make us feel absolutely isolated and alone, that you can't reach out to anyone, not even your fellow healers and helpers and coaches some of the time, if not, nearly all of the time. because then they'll see you and you're supposed to be the expert, and maybe they're your competition, right? Except we don't believe in competition, but still, right? They're your competition, and you don't want them to see, right? Are you resonating with what I'm saying? Let me know if this is making sense to you. I actually can't see what's going on with my channel right now and see if anybody's actually, oh, look. Yes, you are. Okay. Let's see. Yay, there's your comments. Okay, so, okay, let's have a look. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, let me know. Yep, exactly, Michelle. Good. You know exactly how it goes. The weeds, going back to the weeds in the garden, the weeds seem to multiply when ignored. Yes. And you're also saying, Michelle, that you feel the heaviness of that exact thing helping with the financial lack. I'm gonna come to that. And last week was burnout week. I actually didn't know that. Thank you, Michelle, for letting me know that last week was burnout week. So let's pick this up. So that sense of isolation, it can grow and grow and grow so that you don't want to reach out to your friends. You don't want to let them know because you're the healer, you're the helper, you're the therapist, you've trained, you've spent a lot of money, you've worked hard, and it's like you can kind of isolate yourself more and more and more. And that again is this shadow. It's like the shadow is doing its thing. The shadow is working. It's got power over you. It's sabotaging you by making you believe, right? Inserting these little thoughts into the head, these little doubts, these uncertainties. I can't let other people know how I'm really feeling. I can't be vulnerable, even though I know that vulnerability is the key, like that you have to feel to heal, that you have to see it to release it, right? We know that. And we say it to our clients and we help them do that. But then when it comes to us, it's like kind of the same rules don't apply. Where do we go? And some of you do have supervision. You do have mentors that you can go to. And then some of you, like me, are those supervisors, are those mentors, I'm the one, and one of the ones where the healers and helpers and coaches and carers and therapists and leaders and all the people, I get these, you guys are my clients. You guys come to me and I help you. But I have to tell you, and I haven't been very good at showing this either, so I'm calling my own self out here. I'm going to share with you. There have been times where I absolutely was not coping. I was being a single parent whilst doing all of this, whilst flying all over the world, whilst doing events, whilst helping people, jet setting, it looked like from the outside, everyone on social media, I've got this luxurious kind of jet setty lifestyle where I'm flying everywhere. And it was amazing. It really was. However, I'm a single mom with a dog, managing my kids. I don't have any other financial support. I'm trying to take care of them, trying to take care of the dog, trying to manage the babysitting and the dog sitting and just everything in the house. Yeah, everything. And the business and the clients and the marketing and everything on this big purpose, this big mission. I am still, right, dedicated to. But I already had isolated as a child. I'd already gone deep into that, alone, I would say syndrome, alone core wound a long, long time ago. And I personally, from my experience, I believe that I came in with that. It's not even something I can say happened because of what happened in my childhood, although that was a maintaining cause. Bless my parents. I love you guys, but that's what happened. But it was like pre that, my memories of what I have, like, let's just, for the sake of a label, call it past life. I've been doing this over and over and over again. Okay, there was old healer or witch wound, persecution wounds, that healer thing of like you just give and you serve and you don't get anything back for it. And how dare you ask for money? How dare you? How dare you ask for anything in return? You're just supposed to be like some angelic messenger of God, or a servant of the great mother, a priestess, where you just, continue to give selflessly and have nothing, and nor should you want for anything because you're unconditional, because you're pure. And it's like, yeah, there's some truth to that. But again, that's not the whole truth. There's another side to it, right? We live in a dualistic reality. We have black and white, light and dark, up and down, in and out. Everything is duality, right? Masculine, feminine. There's another side to that. So yes, it's true, but there's other things that are also true. And the fact is that, we're a human being. I'm a human being. I have needs. I need taking care of. Okay. I have emotional, mental, physical, spiritual needs too. And just like everyone else, okay, as a healer, therapist, helper, I need other people to help me with my stuff. Just as I help others with their stuff, I also need to receive it. Giving and receiving, right? Giving and receiving equally. Not only giving with a little bit of receiving, because that keeps the cup low. It doesn't top the cup up. And it's really, really hard once you're in this cycle to get out of it, right? Because it's like the more you try and dig to get out of it, and everyone tells you, just keep giving more, give more, just give more. If you're getting stuck in life, just give more. So you give more. And it's like digging a hole that's really hard to get out of. And that's what I've done. I mean, I've done it a number of times. I did it back in around 2018, 2019. By the time I'd done my last events, live events, that is in 2019, and they were fantastic. I mean, I loved them. The team loved them. Everybody loved them. They were getting bigger and bigger. It was fantastic, right? And this is the live in-person staged events for 2 days, 3 days. We're having the most incredible time. Everyone's crying and having transformation. It's beautiful. The energy is blissful. However, with all that work, the back end that people didn't see, and being on the stage and everything else, by the end of that, I was really burnt out. I was really exhausted. And that hadn't been the first time. I'd been burnt out before that. And I know what it's like when every nerve in your body feels like a guitar string that's had the outside like wire unraveled off of it, exposing the little thin one in the center, and then it being stretched and then twanged. Bang. It's like that's how my nerves felt everywhere in my body, and I was in agony. And I was still showing up to do 4-day trainings, live trainings. I was still showing up for my calls and my clients and my kids and my family. And it was like, no one knew really what I was going through. So I get it, right? I totally understand. And it was humiliating, excruciating to feel like, oh my gosh, here am I talking self-love and helping all these other people, but I'm suffering and I can't tell anyone, I can't show anyone. And the shame of anyone finding out was awful. And in fact, it actually did come to that, because when I, finished all the events 2019 and then 2020 happened, and then financially, because I was so burnt out, I actually wasn't earning anything. And I carried on working and giving people my courses. And I was like, thank goodness, I actually did manage to manifest at the time what was my dream home, my dream relationship, my dream situation. And some of you know, I moved off to France. And I did have time there to actually heal a lot of what I'd, been burning out on, those deeper core reasons of why I was burning out. But again, right, and this is the real kicker. It's because often, and I'm going to go back to last week's narcissist podcast called Do Narcissists Really Love You, or something like that it was called. And thank you as well for all of you people that just have showered love on that video and have said that it's helped you so much, because I did feel pretty vulnerable sharing all of that with you and letting you know what my real experience has been, in my personal life and of course with my clients. So really thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for sharing that message and for resonating with it. I love you. Keep doing that. Keep sharing. But yeah, I ended up in a situation where I was so used to giving in personal relationships, doing what I was doing with my clients, right? So I managed to get to the bottom of what I was doing with my clients and healing that aspect, but then I was still doing it in my personal relationship. So I was giving, 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 being that unconditionally loving angel that just gives and serves and gives and serves and, expects very little, if nothing, in return, or if anything in return. I just wanted to love. And it was really hard to acknowledge this. The worst part of it was that actually I wasn't being loved back, and that this cup of mine was so empty that I was hurting in a really different way, not my nerves, in a really different way. And that was potentially the most dangerous, because it was almost invisible. It was almost like I could brush over it because I felt fantastic the rest of the time, right? I was in this blissed out state, but I'd got so used to numbing out. And this is again through earlier wounding, earlier trauma. And if you've been in abusive relationships in any way, shape, or form, you know what I'm talking about. It starts early, and it tends to happen to those of us gentle, sensitive souls that either we have this abusive environment growing up and we become a healer, or we attract the abuse to us because we're soft, sensitive, nurturing, gentle souls who we just want to help others and we just want to serve, right? So it's one of those two things, maybe both. So I was attracting this and I didn't want to see it. And it was the hardest thing to recognize that this person I was pouring love into actually wasn't giving me love at all. In fact, they were emptying my cup and taking my love and guzzling it down like it was going out of fashion, getting drunk on my energy, so to speak, and then, not giving anything back. And so that is another form of burnout, that we can experience in different parts of our lives. And that took longer to recover from. It really did. Because it, again, humiliating. Where can I go? Who can I tell? Oh my gosh, people are going to realize, oh my God. And, people are like, but you're Tara Love Berry. And it's like, gosh, I'm also not, I'm not just that persona. Like, I go through stuff. I'm human. I'm just like you guys, obviously. And I'm still learning, as we all are. So that was incredibly humbling, humiliating, excruciating to go, oh my gosh, and now everyone can see I've been a failure. And so, bless me and bless all of you that know what I'm talking about and have been through this or are going through this now. So many of you going through this now. You will totally have my empathy. I completely understand. I totally feel you. And this is why, basically, right? Because I wanted to do something. I wanted to, like, having come out the other side of that now, thank all of my friends, thank the people that have helped me, thank the therapists that have helped me, thank myself for like actually opening up to receive that, well done me. And also thanks to my method, unconditional transformational self-love, the 7 steps, the I Love You Me method. This thing is a lifesaver. Honestly, I cannot tell you. I was drowning and I used it and it's helped me. Okay. So of course I have this, renewed, restored energy, renewed cup, better sensibility now. I kind of know, more about this arena. I am definitely well equipped to have a different experience, and I am having a completely different experience. And so I feel like, having done that journey, come out the other side, not just having survived, which I'm super grateful for because many don't, I actually am thriving. And it's amazing. I feel amazing. I feel better than I've felt in such a long time. I've healed some deep, deep stuff. Thank you to those shadows. Thank you to those enemies. Thank you to all of the contrast of, the not light that has helped me, realize, as I want it to help you realize, that you have value. Your light, your healing, your giving, your services, your caring, your empathy, your compassion, it has value. It is not worthless. You should not be, giving it away for nothing. But then, I understand the dichotomy of, well, people being willing to pay for it. I get it. I completely get it. And this whole thing of like, when you just burn out and then who do you turn to? I'm like, you can turn to me. Okay, I got you. And this is the reason I'm doing this whole, like I said in the beginning, doing this whole video is because I really believe that we need to come together, and that you need to know that you've got a safe place to come to where you're not going to be shamed. You're not going to have to go through that humiliation, that you don't even have to be fully exposed to other people, but you can be exposed gently and lovingly to yourself, to the parts of you that are sabotaging you, right? To the real reason that you're experiencing the burnout, the overwhelm, the emotional draining, all of the tiredness, even if you got the nerve pain like I had, or whatever other symptoms, the digestive issues, the endocrine issues, the sleepless nights, all of that kind of stuff, the overthinking, the mental drain, that I want to help you with these things. Even if you're at the beginning stages, because if you've experienced this before, that unless you've gone to the very, very, very deep bottom of the barrel to clean it and change it and transform it, that it can easily happen again, right? That pitfall will happen again and again and again. It has, and it does, and it will. Okay, let's just be like real about that. That's just how it is. What you do is up to you. Whether you continue to say, okay, it's okay, I'll wait till the next time. Or whether you're in it now, whether you're actually in one of those places right now, I love you, I got you, I feel you, I'm sorry, I'm here, okay? Or whether you're really struggling and you're really in a place where you go like me, it's happened tons of times, and you go, okay, what can I do to really stop this happening again? What can I do to get to the root causes? Okay, that root cause of I don't feel good enough, I don't feel worthy, that dichotomy of having to give without receiving, and rebalance your giving and receiving energies, and go to those depths in a really gentle, safe, held way, and a transformational guiding experience that enables you to really change it on the core level, on the root level, even on the blueprint level. If you would like to have that experience, I created this amazing thing called From Burnt Out to Blissed Out 7-Day Self-Love Spa. And it's online, and it's going to be with me live. And no, you won't have to be seen by loads of people. And no, I'm not going to make you share in front of everybody. And no, you're not going to have to put aside 7 whole days because I know you haven't got time. And no, you're not going to have to travel or pack or, worry about your tan, or worry about, have you got everything, and worrying about a babysitter. No, this is it's being done in the evenings in UK time. So you have to adjust it wherever you are in the world. And you're just going to be invited to set aside a small amount of time every day to have a deep dive, to have a self-love spa, okay? And having one every day for 7 days. Now, I'm going to do this, and it sounds like a contradiction to what I'm telling you, but it isn't. Because I was like, yes, I can come in and, just take bookings and, do the normal thing. But what I want to do, and what I'm actually doing with this, is once you've experienced this 7-day thing, and you've experienced a result, and you're better in some way or other, and you've noticed a shift, you're feeling different, you're feeling better, and it's got you results, markable, tangible results, then that's where you pay for it at the end. And if you don't get the results, then you don't pay. Quite simply, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like, I know this works, and I know there's all the yeah buts, and like, oh, is it going to work for me? And I haven't got time, and what if I can't afford it? I'm going to let you know right now, you can, and it will, and it does, and it's fine. I got you covered, and you can trust this, because ultimately it's about you beginning to trust yourself again, or more. All right. So if what I'm saying to you now in this video, and if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You don't have to. Hopefully something in this video, I'm sure something in this podcast today has helped you in some way, shape, or form. I'd love you to let me know what has helped you, what's resonated with you. anything you want me to talk about more, like any particular area of this, because it can go in a load of different directions. Or if there's some particular thing that you're struggling with, but you're not really ready, you know, like, okay, you've got your reasons, whatever they are, and you're just saying, okay, that's not for me right now, Tara, that's okay. Let me know. Get in touch, put a comment below this video because I read them all and I get back to people as best I can. Let me know, like, what is the reason that this is not going to work for you just yet? And let me know what it is you're particularly struggling with, okay? Because we need to be vulnerable with each other. We need to be able to tell the truth. If we can't trust another healer, helper, light worker, coach, you know, one of us, and be open and share what's going on for us, really, with each other, and if we can't do that, then where else are we going to go? Do you understand? I know that makes sense to you, right? I know you're feeling me. We have to open up to one another. We have to make this a safe space between us all. We all, I think, have to, you know, drop various, you know, masks or various protection mechanisms and just, you know, or layers, veils, and show each other what's really going on, because I really know that we need each other to heal. I've needed people to help me heal, very much so. Could not have done it without them. And I know that, you know, you guys need someone to help you. And so I just want to let you know that if you resonate with what I'm saying, you're feeling me, I'm totally here. I'm not going to launch this. I'm just giving you like a little idea of what's coming, because I'm not going to launch this until Sunday, the 3rd of March. So we got a few days ahead of us. So you can maybe, you know, think about it. Of course, you don't have all the details yet, but you will on Sunday. If you want the details, by the way, because the place, the place that I share this first is inside with my email subscribers, right? There, I always give them at least a day's heads up, because there's always limited spaces on the things, you know, like this. It's not, you know, infinite capacity. So I always give them heads up and they kind of have the first seats, first option. And then I put it out on my social media channels. And it's not to say that, you know, you guys are not important. It's just that, you know, they're my favorites. They're closer. They're closer. That's all. They're within easy reach, right? We communicate. I communicate with them. They communicate with me. So if you want to be one of those subscribers, go to my website, sign up. Right now, the course is for free. It won't be for much longer. The I Love You Me Transformational Self-Love course is for free. It really won't be. That will be coming off any day now, because everything's changing. I've changed all my systems around. So go and grab that now, and you instantly become a subscriber the moment you go and sign up for that. Or if you don't want to do that, or you've already done it and you want the heads up about this on Sunday, leave me a comment below. I know that the comments when I'm going live are separated from the one that, you know, is on the replay, but that's cool. I'll check you. Or you can just send me an email, or you can find me on social media. Okay, find me on Facebook or Instagram or something. And let me know that you're interested. Okay. And then I can send you the link. I can ping it over to you. So I'm sending you loads of love. Thank you once again for really going to that place and feeling, being real with yourself, and at least be willing to be vulnerable with yourself, if not anybody else. At least melt those barriers between you and you, and really recognize how you're really feeling, and take steps to take care of yourself and look after yourself. And, you know, if you want to be part of my community with the helpers and the healers and the light workers, come on in. Again, more things are being put in place for us to have a better community space. And I do need help to do that. I can't do it all by myself. There's too much, right? This is a we thing. I love you, we, and I love you, me. So if you want to get involved and support and help that mission with me, come and join me, come hang out, come help. But yeah, go and leave me a comment below. Let me know if you want to come to the Burnout to Blissed Out Self-Love Spa 7 days with me. And it'll be really a pleasure and a joy. And I cannot wait. And I look forward to seeing you. And I'll see you next time too. Thank you and so much love. And thank you for subscribing and liking this video. Let's bring this channel, let's raise it. Let's give it some energy, give it some love. And I'll